There's got to be more than this.
Paul McDonald,
Howdy.
my man, thank you so much for making a little time and coming over. I've been looking forward to talking to you for like 2 months now, I think, since we booked the date. And also, just say, longtime fan, first-time caller, really loved the show. This is going to be this summer, we'll say. This will come out in the fall. At Skinny Dennis's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. I've been watching the videos for a long time. It's like, the guy looks like he just was born to do this and went into a time warp and then came back in 2025 and just carried the vibe with him. But then seeing it in the room, you're just like the consummate performer and frontman.
Wow,
so
man.
I know that everybody listening probably would agree who's seen a show. So I'm just really excited and thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate those kind words, and I'm excited to be here with you.
And it's cool. And you're a lifer at this point, you know. And I think that's one of the things this podcast tends toward is like people who've been doing it for a while, because I find those people to be the most interesting artists. We'll just say that for now. Yeah. I reserve the right to change my opinions. But because like it's one thing when you're just young and you have no responsibilities and your whole life is ahead of you and you feel immortal, as we all did when we were young, to just like, you know, chase the dragon and go for it. But at some point we all like hit a point where we're just like, oh, okay, I guess this is it, or this is, you know, where am I anyway? And now you're a little deeper in life and you kind of make this decision whether or not you want to just, you know, do something a little more sane and safe and stable, or continue to go for it. And it's like a major fork in the road that happens at different times for different people. But you're obviously on the other side of the fork.
I mean, for now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like you two reserve the right to change.
At least, I mean, like you said, you know, I mean, there have been times in my career where I have gone, all right, cool, I'm giving myself till 30. And if I haven't made it by 30, then like I'm going to try to figure out something else. I can make way more money doing something else. And then I hit 30 and I go, well, maybe like 31. Yeah. Maybe 32. And then then you kind of hit a point where you go, I think this is just what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I am happy with that. And there will be ups and downs, and there has already been so many highs and lows and throughout the you know, the seasons of doing this. But yeah, I'm sticking with it. I really enjoy doing it, and I feel like you know, I couldn't see myself doing anything else, and I feel like I am using my time on Earth in the best way possible, being on a stage, bringing people joy and singing songs that, you know, lift folks up, and, you know. Yeah,
I feel like that's an answer from a spiritual perspective, which we can get into that too. Do you think that this happened? Was there like a concrete decision that you made, or was it more like you woke up one day and you realized like, wow, I actually am in this for reals forever now, or something in between?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I remember the first time that I thought like, I am going to do this forever. And that was, you know, first, I never really knew that this was a career, like being a musician and writing songs and touring and playing shows. You know, if someone had told me this early on in my life, I probably would have started it earlier. But I got a guitar when I was 15. I started writing songs. It was always for fun. You know, I'd show up at high school parties and be the guy with a guitar, and then showed up at college parties and I was the guy with a guitar, just, you know, always playing and writing songs. And someone saw me play at a college party, and there was more people upstairs watching me, you know, at this frat house than there was downstairs at the band party. And this, you know, promoter was like, hey, would you want to play my restaurant, you know, restaurant bar, Rooster's, you know, chicken joint or something? And I said, sure, like, what does that mean? And she was like, well, I'll pay you, and you get free drinks, and more than likely, you know, girls will like you. And I thought,
Three of my favorite things.
Yeah, what am I doing in school, you know? And so, yeah, I played that gig, and we packed it out because we had a lot of buddies, you know, a lot of college friends. At that stage in the game, you can call your buddies, and they all want to come out and stuff. And yeah, I continued to do that for a while, and I remember driving back home from a gig at the Peachtree Tavern in Atlanta we were playing with like Zach Brown band back in those days, and it was like Jägermeister presents, you know, $3 Jaeger bombs and Zach Brown, and you know, High Tide Blues was the name of the band. But we were doing a gig like that, and we were coming back home, and I remember hearing one of our songs on the radio, and the next day I had a mammalian physiology test and a biochem 2 test at like 7 in the morning. It was like one of those strange classes. It was 7 in the morning. We're driving through the night, and I thought, I think I'm going to do this music thing. I think I'm going to drop out of school, and I'm just going to give this a shot properly, and I can always come back to school if it doesn't work out. And I've never looked back. I mean, there's been a few times in between where I've had to pick up side gigs and stuff, but
sure.
Yeah.
And so how did your folks feel about that? Just curious.
Oh my gosh. I mean, both of my parents are highly intellectual people, man. Both, you know, doctors and
like MDs?
MDs. Yeah. So my dad's a psychologist and my mom was an occupational therapist that got her doctorate in her 60s. And so they were a little bit scared. They didn't let me know. They were not so much disappointed, but like they were supportive, but at the same time you could tell they were like, you have 2 classes left, Paul. Like
you were that close?
That close, yeah. Yeah. But for an undergrad degree in biomedical sciences, you know.
Yeah.
And so I had 2 classes left, but those last 2 classes we were touring heavy that last semester, and my grades just started dropping, and I would go in and tell my professors, hey man, we're opening up for this big cool band, and they didn't care.
Sure.
And I thought, man, I can always go back because the momentum of the band was starting to move. But as time went on, they became, I mean, my parents were the biggest supporters, you know. I mean, they would come out to shows. You know, they came out on the Leonard Skinner cruise in 2010. That was a good one to have your parents on, you know? But yeah, they came out all the time, and there were certain moments throughout time where I would be on stage with some of their heroes or doing something that was just so, you know, far-fetched in terms of what I thought that I was capable of doing. And I remember my dad, you know, saying like, you just did this and this and this, and that's pretty much like a PhD of what you're doing. Like those are my heroes, and you're getting to sing with them and stuff. And so there's been a lot of moments over time where my parents have been like, I'm glad you did this route, and I'm glad you're happy, you know.
So you, I don't want to say struggle, but maybe a version of struggle, and drove around the South regionally playing with the band. Oh, yeah. How old were you when the Idol thing happened, and how did that happen?
Oh gosh. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, like when you're a kid, nothing really feels like struggling. You're just, I mean, you can live on no money, and you're just like gig to gig. And if I don't have money, I'll go wait some tables and whatever. And it's just like, you're just in it, you know? Yeah. And so, yeah, we started that band in college, a band called High Tide Blues. And we kind of beat the college circuit. You know, we'd toured and we wanted to be
NACA. Did you do like the NACA conferences and all of it?
No, we never got to do those, man. How it happened was we auditioned for a Battle of the Bands in Auburn, Alabama, and we got second place in the Battle of the Bands. And the first place band was like a metal band, and we stole the metal band's drummer because he was the best drummer in town.
Yeah.
And so on that Battle of the Bands, there was a college booking agency there by the name of Crescent Moon Talent and also Music Garden. And so if you won the Battle of the Bands, you got a contract with the thing. But we didn't win, but they signed us anyways, and they didn't sign the metal band, you know. And so they started putting us out playing frat parties, you know, sorority formals. Just we were playing 200 shows a year wherever we could play. And that continued to grow and grow and grow. And because the money you can make playing those, you know, 4-hour cover sets in college, we were making decent money, especially stacking up 200 shows a year. And so we bought a van. We decided we were going to come up here and cut an EP of original songs. And our buddy Laura Wright, she went to school with us, and her dad was a big Mark Wright, big Nashville guy up here. And so he set us up with a great demo studio called County Q over in Berry Hill. And
is it still there?
It's still there, yeah. And gosh, I'm trying to remember who the guy who mixed it was, man. Ryan, he's like a huge Grammy Award winning mixer now. But we were all kids when we went up there and cut 5 songs. And I remember going,
How old, can I ask how old you were then?
I
Like
was
24,
probably,
5?
Yeah, probably even younger, man. Probably 22, 23, something like that, maybe. And that was 2005, man. That tells you, how old I am. But it was like, so after we did that, we go, oh my God, we're a real band. And so we started playing these frat parties, and we would pass out this CD, 5-song CD for free wherever we went. And so we'd play, 4-hour, Fiji Island at Georgia Tech, where you got all these college kids, and we're in college as well. And they're drunk and having a good time, and we're passing them the CDs. The next morning they wake up hungover and have the best time of their life, and they're going, oh, what's this CD, man?
Yeah.
And they pop it, and that was back when CDs were still a thing. And we built a great fan base just by touring the Southeast. And
like that would have been MySpace was the main
MySpace was
hub
still
then?
a thing. Yeah.
For
And
sure.
and when you got songs on the radio, it broke. I mean, it helped break you, So we had a song in Birmingham, and so we could sell out Zydeco, Workplay, places like that. And then we moved up to Nashville and got on. We did another Battle of the Bands, man. We did Music City Mayhem for Lightning 100.
Killer.
And we ended up winning that. It was the second year it existed, man.
And that was what year?
Probably
7, 8.
9, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, because that's when I moved here in 07 or 8.
Oh yeah.
So I would have been there, and that was, of course, the Battle of the Bands. The Lightning 100 was. I don't know if it still is as important, but it still is going on.
It's still
for
going
sure.
on. Yeah.
But that was at that moment, man. If you could do that,
Oh, it was huge.
was it Bonnaroo? You got to play at the Bonnaroo stage, or
not quite yet? The prizes weren't as good back then, dude. But I think we got like a few free guitars from a local music shop, and then they played your song on the radio, and it's great. Yeah,
sure.
And they played I played your song in rotation for like a full season or something, and so that helped break us in Nashville for sure, man. And right around that time, that was when we were getting in the studio and cutting a new record under the band Grand Magnolias, and that's when I got shipped out to American Idol. And how you asked how that happened.
So did you audition for it, or they just tapped you?
I mean, I auditioned for it, but I got tapped. So we were living a few doors down at that house on Basketball.
From where we are presently taping here in East Nashville.
Yeah, a few houses down. And the guitar player of the band, his girlfriend is she still is like an amazing choreographed dancer, and she was on a show called So You Think You Can Dance, which is produced by the same people that did American Idol at the time. And so we'd been touring, doing the band thing. And we had a gig in Denver that weekend. The gig got canceled due to mold infestation. We were playing a place called the Walnut Room. And so
I know that room.
Remember that? Yeah.
That seems about right.
Yeah. And so we were like, all right, man, we can't like stay out here. So we're going to drive back to Nashville and spend the weekend. And at that point in time, a weekend in Nashville, we were just always on the road. And we showed up at Red Door, Midtown, classic, Nashville, early 20s fashion. And
still there.
Still rocking. And his girlfriend was there, and she said, hey, Paul, American Idol auditions are tomorrow, and I signed you up for it. And I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down there and do that. And she was like, no, but it's my friends that run the show, and it would be super cool. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. She spends the night at our house in Basketball. We're early 20s. We're up like late night jamming, writing songs. We have a whole setup where we can play music all night and nobody bugs us. So we're up to probably 3 or 4 in the morning writing songs and recording and doing what, a young, youthful, rock and roll band does. And the next morning, she's upstairs with, my guitar player, and she comes down and tries to wake me up to go to the audition. I'm not about getting up and going. So sleeping a little bit longer. She goes, hey, come on, let's go. It's about like, now it's the auditions, I think, start at 6 in the morning. It's probably noon. It's probably noon by this time. She's like, I'm going to take you down there. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get in. It's over anyway. So this will be an in and out. Didn't tell the band anything, but I was like, I'm going to go do this for our guitar player's girlfriend, and, show up to the thing in full on stage garb, from what I was rocking, and in line with, there were 16,000 people at this audition, but because I was 6 hours late, I only had to wait for about 20 minutes. And I remember there was a girl, it was ahead of me or behind me, named Brooke Eden, who's still she's still, a successful artist, and she's still doing it. I remember talking to her, and we get up there, and they say, I had my guitar with me, and they said, what do you got for us? What do you want to hear? I picked up my guitar, and they said, you're not allowed to use a guitar. Okay. Well, how about I just sing you the song I wrote last night? Me and my band were jamming it. Yeah, so I sang this original song just a cappella. He said, no, you have to do like a cover. You do something that, and I was like, any request? I was like ready to get back. They were doing a barbecue at the house, and
trying to get this.
Yeah, I was trying to
with.
get it over with. And so I thought, all right, man, what would be like the quickest way out of here? And I sang Tutti Frutti. I just went like, a wow baba loo baba wow bam boom tutti frutti.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I'll be out of here. Yeah. Is that good? Tutti Frutti?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Did you really do Tutti
I did
Frutti?
Tutti Frutti.
Awesome, man.
And they immediately were like, cameras. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to miss the barbecue. And my band is going to just, destroy me if this ends up working out. And sure enough, it ended up working out, man. And at the time, we were our attorney was Jim Zumwalt here in town with the band, and I remember sitting down in his office, going like, "Hey, man, I did this American Idol thing, and like we got this new record that's on the way, the Grand Magnolias record we had just done with Dan Hannon, who produced a lot of the Manchester Orchestra stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "What do you think we should do here?" And he was like, I think you just ride it out. It's not like you're going to win this thing. Just like get out there real fast and do it, and get a little bit of eyes on you, and then pop back out on the road with the band, and it'll be off to the races. And that was kind of the game plan, and it just ended up going way further than I thought. And I was on tour with American Idol for like a year and a half, and the band broke up. And
so wait,
yeah.
okay, I do want to know about that, but I have, for some reason, I always like to kind of know the timeline of things. But so you go out there. How far did you go in Idol?
I got 8th place.
8th place,
Yeah.
amazing. And
Which
then
is,
and you had to. It's pre-taped. There's like the NDA. You can't say anything,
Yeah.
and then but you knew well in advance,
Yeah.
or whatever, months
Yes.
before it was all known.
For sure, yeah. Until you get to the very, very end, man. This is like just revisiting. I hadn't
Sorry
thought
to
about this
trigger
stuff.
you.
Nah, I hadn't thought about this stuff in a long time. But yeah, like from what I can remember, like we went out way earlier on, and you would do like a few auditions here in town. So like the first one was at the arena, and then after you beat that one, then you went to like the Hutton Hotel, and you got to meet with a smaller cast of crew people. And then once you beat that one, there was either
You're talking about like a video game, like
yeah,
you beat
it's
the
like
boss.
you beat the boss. Yeah. Then you get to go to the Ryman, and you sing at the Ryman. But every time I would, the Cattle Call audition sent you to the one where you get to meet the producers, and the producers were like, "Paul, we really dig your vibe, but will you go home and learn these songs?" And so, the cast, or I guess the producers, really thought I had a Rod Stewart vibe at the time, and so they said, "I want you to go home and learn Maggie May, learn some faces." Sure, man, I'm happy to do it. Went home and learned those tunes, and came back, and then I got to sing in front of Steven Tyler at the Ryman. And to me, I thought, well, like, even though it's American Idol, like, I'm probably gonna get some hate on this for doing this, but like, dude, I'm singing in front of Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler's here. Like,
Yeah.
that dude's cool. And we're at the Ryman. This is a cool life experience. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do this and then move on. Did it. And at the time, when you're in your early 20s, Ryman is a huge deal, man. It's still a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, did that one.
So
and
the Ryman was empty and they sat in the audience, or is that how it was?
Yeah. Well, I think they set them up on stage,
Okay.
and then you're like, right in front of them, and then the audience is empty. They're filming the whole thing. But yeah, from there, that was the first time you get to meet the judges, and the judges that year were Steven Tyler and Jennifer Lopez and Randy Jackson.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy Iovine was the guy who was always kind of around helping out. And it was right as he started Beats headphones. So he was really involved in the Beats stuff
Yeah.
during that run.
Huh.
Yeah.
What that guy is a brilliant music mind. And just as an aside, I was watching an interview with Jimmy Iovine not too long ago. He's an immortal producer for people who don't know.
Incredible, yeah.
He's had a huge career from Springsteen to hip hop. He broke hip hop acts and was involved in Snoop Dogg's early formation. And anyway, he was like at one point the interviewer asked him like, so how come you've never like put out a book? And he said to the interviewer, he's like, I decided a long time ago I was never going to write any more books than I had read.
Wow.
I was just like, that just goes to show you don't have to read a lot of books to be successful in this world.
I mean, that guy he's got plenty of money.
He's a billionaire plus, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy being around those guys, like, especially at that young age. I mean, we were cutting a lot of the demos or not demos, but we were cutting cover songs for the show with all these world-class producers. So, like that was the coolest part for me.
What an education. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you're in the room and like Mary J. Blige is just hanging out and like Mark Anthony was there. Jennifer Lopez was dating him at the time. So like all these guys, like we were having actual, communication on a human level with these, superstars. And in a way that was really cool. We got to cut some stuff with Don Was, he was one of the producers out there, Rodney Jerkins, Alex the Kid, a lot of these just like mega producers. And so even though we were cutting cover songs, it was like
we're still just right there watching how they
how they produce records, man. And so we'd be cutting and then they're like, oh man, look at this week I got 2 number ones on the charts with Eminem and Rihanna. And I'm like, man, this is crazy, dude. This is like I'm here watching how you work.
Yeah.
And so that kind of knowledge was, I take away from American Idol that knowledge and go, wow, I would never be able to get in the room with those people unless I was, an established huge star. But still, then it's like you don't get the chance to work with all those brilliant producers that are all different kind of genres and that kind of thing.
It's a really unique experience for anyone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you got to go. You went on tour, and then so the band breaks up. And now were you thinking like, was this a happy time in your career or a not happy time or a mixed time or,
Man, it was mixed emotions, because we had built up this band the old fashioned way, which is, grassroots, 200 shows a year, the same way I'm doing it now. And we had done it for 6 years. And then all of a sudden this opportunity comes up and the band's stuck at home. And I'm out here doing all this fun TV stuff, but in the same way, I always felt like guilty about doing it, and also felt like I wasn't supposed to be there, kind of thing. It was like man,
like imposter syndrome,
syndrome, and then also just like, I learned like 5 or 6 cover songs in a few weeks to do that show, and at the time. We were walking. It was pop culture fandom craziness. Like I would walk out after a show, and you would touch someone's hand, and they would start weeping, and you're going like, "I just learned a Rod Stewart song. Like this is not reality here." It was a very strange, and so it felt like. All this stuff was happening, but I didn't deserve any of it, or I hadn't earned any of it. And it was like, wow, I'm here. I'm sitting at this table with these amazing other people that have earned it from the ground up. And yet somehow I skipped the line to do these arena gigs and these shows. And like, none of it's really on my own merit outside of, sure I can sing, a little bit, but these aren't my own songs. This isn't the thing I've built from the ground up. And so I always felt a little bit of, the imposter syndrome and going like, man, I wish this hadn't happened, but in
the meantime, your band's back home. I'm sure there's hurt feelings or sense of betrayal or stuff.
And the further along it went, and then it just continued to stretch, and then the band just eventually dissolved, and I ended up living in LA for a few years, and then watching it go up and down just faster than it went up, man. And then so I moved right back to East Nashville with my tail tucked between my legs, a few houses down from where I live with the band house, and started waiting tables, started doing construction. And this was after, living in a big old mansion and being in People magazine and all that stuff. And so much so where I would be the host of a restaurant asking how you want your eggs cooked, and people would walk in and go like, no way.
Second.
Oh, is this like one of those shows where and I'm going,
am I being punked?
Yeah. It's like, no, this ain't a show. And like, you can't
No,
ask
this
for,
is
you can't
Nashville.
ask for a photo because like my
I'll get
boss is
fired.
going to get pissed.
Yeah.
But man, that was another, piece that I needed, man. I needed to be humbled immediately after that huge trip. And then the build back.
Was
from
it
that,
humbling? Did it hurt?
completely.
Or was it kind of like,
it hurt. Yeah, it did hurt, man. It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt a lot at first. I mean, because back in those early days, my ego was still very much part of who I was and my music. And I was like, which is, that's just being a kid, and thinking that you're more important than someone else for, no reason at all. And
because somebody cried when you touched them.
Yeah. It's
You're
just
just like, oh, I guess I am special.
Yeah,
Like,
oh my
look at
gosh!
this power.
Yeah, how incredible!
It's clear. I mean,
yeah, obviously, but yeah, I needed that, and everything since then has brought me, to this point where I am now, and I think that's why, the songs are deeper. The reason why I do it is completely different from when I was 22 years old, and I'm just more intentional with my space and with my voice and the vision and everything,
Yeah, man, I can absolutely relate. And if you don't mind, I'll just share a really quick story.
Please.
That's a point of connection on a much smaller scale because I wasn't on American Idol, but I spent my 20s out in Seattle and was lucky to have founded this bluegrass band right at the time when everybody wanted to hear bluegrass. Cool. And the live show was fun. And at the time we were like the only young guys in the Pacific Northwest that were really doing it. So amazing. And I was in college then. And because of the timing of everything, I was able to just like go out on the road, and we had, several moments that were just like confirming.
Oh yeah.
And in the meantime, then I was like, in the meantime, writing my own songs, and then a producer got excited about me, and we cut a record together, and that made us like a tour of Europe, and on and on. It just kept going, right? And all through my 20s, I never had a straight job. I was just like able
on the road.
I was the guy.
Yep.
That was kind of how I thought of myself.
Oh yeah.
God, it's embarrassing to say that right now, but
it's because you never had anybody come down and crash it. Everything was just going.
It kept going.
Yeah,
exactly. Like when I moved to Nashville when I was 28, and I within 2 weeks of moving here, I had a little house on the corner just down the street from Brown's Diner on the corner of Natchez and Blair, and the first 2 weeks there, I won the Merle Fest songwriting contest that has like Tift Merritt and Gillian Welch. Like it was just like a tastemaker of, I was just like, okay. And then I got picked up by this indie label. And I was like, man, what took me so long to get here? This is
easy, man.
Oh yeah, people say Nashville's hard. And then cut to like 7 months later, the label had imploded. I was 2,500 miles away from my fan base. Nobody gave. I was just some other guy in town, and I was just like, and I had exhausted all resources, and I was just about 30, and I remember turning 30, waking up on this couch in my friend's rented, dilapidated apartment, just like my eyes opened and I just saw the coffee table covered with just like this overflowing ashtray and a ton of empties, and I was just like, this is my life, I guess, right? And I like ended up having I got a straight job parking cars at a hotel downtown, and I had that gig for like 3 years. And prior to that, I was always like, well, if it kind of goes south, I'll just like go back to school. That was the backup plan. And like being in this situation all of a sudden where I really was starting over, like nobody cared. And I was living hand to mouth in an utterly unglamorous situation. And it was like you said, it was just the best thing that could ever happen to me.
Yep.
The humbling.
Yeah.
And it also like purified my intentions, because I was just like, well, what were you in it for? Was it to be on like the lights and the girls and like being special? Because you're not special now. So do you still want to do it? And I was just like, I'm a fucking artist.
Oh yeah.
Like I just love making stuff.
Yep.
And I realized like I didn't even care. Like I would like punch a clock. I'd make my $65 on my shift or whatever. And I go home and I have all the time in the world. And my rent was paid. I was free.
That's it.
It was great.
Yeah.
And so, it's like I went back into the art like a couple years later. Things started going well again, and won some awards and got to go on the road, and it was like it came back together, but in a completely different way. Where I was just like felt grateful,
Oh yeah.
You know,
Everything.
and the joy of sharing music and not like taking it for granted ever, like that it would mean something to somebody. So anyway, I can totally relate.
Dude, that's it. Getting older and you said it's like doing this, you're going to be an artist forever, man. We're creating art until we die. And it's like every opportunity, being grateful is, you're walking in going like, whether it's a sold out arena or whether it's two people there, you're going, man, I'm grateful to be playing music tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to get to express myself. And dude.
So okay.
Yeah. We've ran similar gauntlets, man.
We went through some shit, you know. Yeah. Right? So, okay. That's awesome. So you had some great, it sounds like a complicated life chapter, a purifying life chapter. And then you had to retool, you started over your waiting tables and kind of envisioning what you're going to do here. And so did the sound change from for the Grand Magnolias to the current sound, or the look changed a little?
Look changed a lot. This mainly came from the pandemic, man. I hopped into a van and was just touring around playing house parties all through the pandemic and just grew my beard and hair out, just thinking we're all going to die. And then I thought, wow, I just never gave myself a chance to grow out my hair and beard. And I thought, I think this is just who I am from here on out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I doing being that other guy?
No, dude, the Jesus thing is working. I feel like
it's a vibe, fun, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's it feels like me, and and I guess that's kind of always what you're shooting for with art and music, is like to get to the most well-represented spot of who you are as an individual. I think that was like this. Yes, did the sound change? The sound changed a lot. When I moved to LA, I got tossed into. I was first off with the band. The band was just me writing songs on acoustic guitar, and I bring it to the guys, and it would sound like the Grand Magnolias because the guitar player sounded like the guitar player, bass player. We were all just kids. It sounded like we sound,
mm-hmm.
and in turn, it sounds like a band, And then when I got to LA, I did the same thing where I would just write songs on acoustic guitar, but I got tossed into, oh man, well, let's put you with this giant pop producer. Let's put you here. So all of a sudden, these like stripped down acoustic songs now sound like big pop production. Or it was just me going, well, I should probably go try this because, like, why not? I'm getting an opportunity to work with this person. And so my music style from Grand Magnolias till now went up and down and up and down and in and out and different looks. And I was kind of lost because I had lost my family, which was my bandmates. Mm-hmm. And I got shattered out into this LA stream where everybody's pulling you in directions. And I thought, well, I have to.
You're
try
the Rod Stewart guy.
Yeah. You're the dude from that thing, from the thing. And it's like, and that was all they know of you. No one wanted to ask, where are you from, man? Like, oh, it was like, give me your, it was always just like, you're the guy from those two things, And so
you're trying on a lot of outfits.
Trying a lot of different outfits, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I realized over time that the outfit that worked the best was the one that I was in before all of that. It was the reason why I got pulled out on that show, is because I wasn't trying to be anything other than myself. I was just being. I was just creating with my buddies with no expectations. Let's make a record. Cool. Like, let's not like walk into it and go, we want it to be like, let's just write the songs and make the record and press record and then on to the next thing, right? Because we're 20s and we don't, there's no, you have to have this by this, and we need it to do this many numbers. And there was not anybody in our ears because we weren't successful. We were just making art to make art. And so
freeing.
Freeing. I mean, that's what I'm always just trying to get back to, and go like, I don't care if people don't, connect with this record, because as long as I connect with it, then I just go back and make another one and make another one. And hopefully we wake up, 50 years from now, we go, man, we're still doing this. We're like two really old dudes that have just made art our whole life. And some young kids are going to go, man, you guys are legends. Yeah. It's like, well, we just learned how to be poor, for our whole life and make art, man,
No, it's really true. There's such a, virtue's not the word, but joy, I think, in just finding meaning in the actual experience. And I know of a number of people in our community that have had a great deal of success and much more success, who are maybe just like, for whatever reason, annoyed and tired, and that it wasn't quite the other way, or as much as that guy, or that. That's such an easy pitfall to fall into, and maybe one that's like easier to fall into if you've had a ton of success.
For sure.
I don't know, because that that high is so high.
And then you're constantly, if you're up there, I mean, thank goodness, man, I haven't popped back into that realm of, playing arenas and stuff on my own, with my own records and things like that. We're still playing rock clubs and stuff, but like, it's definitely, you see it all the time, no matter what level it is. You'll pop into a room and, even your buddies that are playing these huge rooms and stuff. And there's always, man, I wish we could get up to that one. There's always like a level up and stuff. And what I've been trying to do as of lately, as the past few years, is just, like you said, man, be grateful for every single gig, like, and not even look into what it is. Of course, there's certain venues and goals and things that you want to check off the bucket list, but like, once you do that, then it's just like Tuesday the next day, and then you got to do it again. It's you're only worth the next album or the next song that you're writing. And I'm just grateful for every single gig that's been rolling in, man, big or small. And
you're a really good band guy, and I feel like that comes out of, and what I mean by that is you're just I feel like you're always surrounded with super talented musicians, and that reminds me that we need to set up a live song, speaking of super great musicians. But like when we set up this hang, you were like, I'd like to call a couple of people and bring them in. And that's exactly what I knew you would do, or I suspected, because it's just like, why not? Let's make it a party. Yeah. And that is something that just comes naturally, or is it from your experience, or is it like important to you to like have a community of people be part of the journey? I think like I'm spoon feeding you this question, but I mean, I'm curious about your answer.
I mean, I started out as a band guy. That was like my early years growing as an artist, as a musician. I was just the lead singer of a rock band. And to me, those were some of the most fun and inspiring years of my life. And so when I went solo, it was only because I did that TV show, and that pulled me away from a band. And so I was always trying to be part of a community versus like me. And then over time, as you know, man, it just gets exhausting trying to be like, Paul McDonald, here's my music, here, man, me. It's just like I'm over myself at this point, man. I'm over. I don't want to talk about me, even though we're talking about me right now. It's like I would rather shine light on other folks and have them be part of the journey. And and I have been very, very fortunate to have incredible musicians play in the band over the years, like legendary players, man. And I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I always let the band members have creative freedom. It's like, and even in the studio as well, you hire a person in because I don't want to tell them what to do. I go, oh, dude, I'm hiring you. You know how to play bass better than me.
Yeah.
Do it.
How would you do it?
Yeah. And I'm hiring you to have your expertise and your taste, and so the band is always, in the moment. It's free, it's fun, it's never the same every night, and it's just a good time. And then at the end of it, I don't walk away going like, cool, Paul, I did it.
Yeah.
Good one. Good one. All right, cool. Off to the next thing. Yeah. Sold some T-shirts.
You got somebody to hug. Like, you got a crew to hug.
A crew to hug, and also a lot of guys that have not experienced a lot of the stuff that I've seen and done, man. And so like, it's like watching them experience some of these things for the first time brings me immense joy as well. It's like seeing through the eyes of a child, in the sense of like, not quite that. These guys have been touring a bunch, but like we'll go to places, like we just were in Moab, a few weeks ago, and guitar player Mike was just like, this is incredible. And it was incredible. Yeah. But it's like a lot of these opportunities and festivals and things, you know, they're equally as special to me as they are to the band. And I love that sense of camaraderie, and it's just fun. Man.
Yeah, it's palpable. I mean, you can see it from the crowd for sure. And, you know, I do a lot of film stuff, and a huge reason why I got into that was, well, A, on accident, but B, having, like, I'm mostly played by myself, and I'm just like very singer-songwriter-y, and I would like it if everybody would sit down and listen to the words to the song and like the nice fancy picking, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with all of my the ways I am. That's fine. But so when my version of kind of branching out and getting sick of myself and my name on the marquee and having the great gig or the not whatever, I was just like, God, it's just me. Yeah. This is like, I'm tired of this. And I happened to get on a film set one time, and I was just like, wait a second, there's 65 people here, and everybody's got their little job, and we're all working together to make this one thing as good as possible. Yeah. And it was transformative for me. You know, I was just like, I want to do this. Like, I like being part of a team.
Yeah.
And and ever since then, it continues to be like a huge source of joy for me. It's like, it doesn't hurt that that's how I met my wife. And like, for instance, I'm putting out a bunch of songs this year. I just put out one yesterday as of this taping.
Oh, congrats.
Thanks, man. Yeah. And part of the single cycle is we'll put out an official video, and we're putting way too much money into these things. There's no recoupment on
not at all,
but the joy.
Oh, it's great art.
It goes right. I mean, we just taped one like last week or a week and a half ago or something, and we had like a half dozen kids on set, and there were 40 people that were on set. Yeah, and it was like I just turned it over to the director. Randa produced it, my wife Randa, and I hardly had anything to do with it except I wrote the song and I did what they told me. I mean, I did have some input, but I didn't want to really. It was the same thing. I brought your vision in. Like, here's the budget. What can we pull off? You know, with this. And just let's go on this adventure together. And as far as that video goes, it's just like, it's an adventure. That adventure is something I know I can do for the rest of my life as much as I possibly am able to do it. It's it's fun. My wife right now is acting. She just got a huge gig on a TV show. It's amazing for our family. We're very lucky. It's also annoyingly disruptive, but it's like so fun to be, this is going to be a segue. It's so fun to be in a relationship with somebody who has, not just one foot, but like has a vested interest in a lifestyle that's kind of predicated around the creative arts and all of its unpredictability, because she understands and I understand and we help each other. And you're involved with a very talented artist, Leah Blevins, who was also happened to be a guest on an earlier episode. It was one of my favorite interviews ever. And that must be, I mean, mutually supportive and also like challenging at times, because you both are gone at different times. Or
of course.
How do you negotiate that?
I mean, the good news is we both do the same thing, and we both understand that, like, you know, what touring is. And I mean, this year in particular, it's been hard to spend time. I mean, I've been traveling a whole lot, and she's been in town working on an album, which she just got the masters back last night. It sounds incredible. It's gonna be
so exciting.
It's gonna be a good year for her. But yeah, it's been, you know, we're both kind of in a spot where we're getting our careers to a level where there is gonna hopefully be some stability, where we can go like, all right, we can breathe now. Like, wherever we go and play shows, there's going to be at least a pad of people that will come to see us. And like, when we go out and tour, we're not going to be losing all of our money. And, you know, so we're going, the next 5 years, man, we need to be hunkering down and doing this. And so when I'm home, I've got Susie, the dog. I'm watching the dog. I'm taking care of those responsibilities. And then when she's home, she's doing that. And then we meet when we're back at home, and we're trying to plan some like vacations, you know.
Yeah, so hard.
We're trying to plan some vacations where it's like, we just need a weekend to go out and spend, like, you know, outside of all of the logistics. Like, let's just go hang out. You know?
So hard to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't take a vacation until I got married to somebody who was stable enough in life that vacations were a thing she knew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, vacations are like all right, how can we book a gig that pays us to get to a place?
That's a vacation. It still is to me.
I mean,
we're going to
yeah.
Idaho in a couple of weeks, and I have one great gig
Yeah.
around that. And
I mean, that's it.
We can hang. That justifies the
That justifies,
vacation.
yeah. And sometimes I'll even book gigs based around like, all right, it's time for our like annual beach trip. Let me call my buddy and see if she'll put us up for the week in exchange for us playing a show. And that's like how we pay for our vacations,
Yeah.
you know, still. Yeah.
Totally.
But
I
like,
mean-
what a gift that we are able to do that, because there's no way we'd be able to, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, it is such a unusual way to live, and one that's hard to understand from the outside, I think, for a lot of people, because it just defies all common sense of modern capitalism and setting aside money for retirement and all the things that you should do. You really are like living on faith when you're doing this.
Oh, yeah.
So I commend you. And I keep forgetting, but would you like to play a song here in the
Of
studio?
course, yeah, would love to.
What one are you going to play? And maybe you could set it up for us.
I'm gonna do a song called Rosemary, and I've actually got some of the band in tow.
Oh, killer.
Yeah. So this one's called Rosemary, and we're talking a little bit about just writing for this next season of this album that I just put out. It's called So Long to the Dark Side, and this record is a lot of using my voice and energy to kind of push people in a positive direction and get them out of their own way. And this is one of the most kind of poetic songs that just fell out of the sky. I co-wrote this song with the legendary Brian Wright, East Nashville all-star, one of my favorite songwriters. It's the first day that we got in a room together, and this one fell out. But I don't know. It's an interesting song, and I'm not quite sure exactly what it's about. But whenever I'm singing it, it feels like I'm singing to my mom or my grandma, or somebody that's not with you anymore, and you just wish that they were kind of still around.
Let's hear it.
Baby, I could use you right here close.
ocean and me, Rosemary. Yeah.
Man, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
And you're right. You got some ringers in the band.
Oh man, these guys are legendary players.
You were talking right before we went in about this song being in memory of or in thinking of people who aren't with us anymore. And I know that in the last year you lost your mom, and I'm sorry. First of all, my condolences. I don't know if that was sudden or a long time coming, but either way, it's an absence. And has that changed the way you relate to art or intensified it, or is there any words you could put to that?
Of course, man. I mean, I think losing a parent, especially if the parent was a really great parent. My mom was my biggest supporter, man, my biggest fan, and she loved me more than anyone has ever loved me in my entire life. And so losing her was the biggest hit that I've ever experienced. And it's just a complete paradigm shift with this experience, losing someone that close. And this kind of thing happens all the time, but when it happens to your person, then it changes everything, and so I don't know if it's changed how I'm writing songs, but it definitely has changed the way that I see the world, and with the time that I have left, it definitely opens you up to the fact that we're not going to be here forever. Mm-hmm. And like anything that I was worried about in the past, watching your mom just dissolve from cancer just wakes you up to, what are we doing this for? And anything that, I mean, it's I just am very intentional with my time and my space and energy and the people that I surround myself with and all of that, Mm-hmm. It's like, I want to serve my mom, it's interesting. After she died, I quit drinking, and it was almost like, I'm behaving. I'm on my best behavior. Like now she can see me. She can see everything,
Gives me chills. I mean, she's everywhere.
She's everywhere. And so I think of her wherever I go, every decision, every move that I make, she's with me. And I just hope that she's proud of me. I'm doing this. My mom was an occupational therapist in her life. She was a professor at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and worked for the school system growing up with mentally challenged and disabled kids. And that taught me a lot about empathy and just being a good person. And I'm doing this festival Americana party called One Big Love, and we're teaming up with Songs for Kids, which is Josh Rifkin out of Atlanta, a good buddy I've known for 20 years. And man, she would love that so much, man. I went and sat in with them on Tuesday, and Eric Slick was on drums, and these kids are just incredible. And so hopefully we can use our community and our voices and our power together to lift up things actually that really matter, Mm-hmm. So
the fact that we're just here one time on planet Earth together, and we are one big family.
Yeah,
people don't ever talk about that. It's not a popular subject these days,
No.
And I understand whatever the divisions between people, and that there are things that keep us apart from one another. But I think that one of the great gifts that music is that even if for a moment, it just brings people together, or really can. And I love that you do the One Big Love Festival. And is that your invention? You did a version of it like maybe summer before last.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it. So the first one started in 2022, and it was tossed to me. I've always wanted to throw like a music festival. I've always had an idea of doing that just since I've been a kid. And the first one came about just Daniel over at D's was like, hey man, it's our 3rd birthday party and we're having a pig roast and blah, blah, blah. And Brian and Sally can't do it, man. They backed out, man. We need a day of like artists. And I was like, wait. So like you guys are giving me the keys to like throw like a mini day party over here? And I was like, amazing. I'm going to like go all in. So I got posters made. I invited probably like 20 artists. It was over the top, and we raised probably about $5,000 for hurricane relief. The hurricane had just hit like Fort Myers Beach at that time. It was October 2022. And I thought, man, that was so much fun. Like we raised some money for a great cause, and I got all of my friends together. Like I never get to see them play because I'm always on tour and they're on tour. The only way we get together is if we're working. Mm-hmm. We live right on the street from each other. We don't ever hang out unless we set something up where we're like, hey man, let's get together and work, or play a show or something. And so from that turned into a residency at the Underdog, same kind of thing where I was just wanting to play and bring in people, and we did that for a month, and I brought in 4 or 5 artists each night, and we gave back to different charities in town. And then from that, it opened up to a whole thing where, once you build a certain thing, there was more kind of corporate folks that came in and were like, we see what you're doing. How can we build this? And and then I almost put together it was like a 6-month concert series where we were doing it in different spots on the East Side. And that was a lot, man. It was like too much for me to do, and also try to be an artist and a touring, guy. But we did it, and it was incredible, and we built this huge community on the East Side, and it was so many different bands that and artists that come from different worlds, but you get them under the same roof, and everybody was kind of like the same, and it smashed all egos, and it smashed all like just pockets. It was just a beautiful experience for everybody involved. And I thought, man, this is something that I'd really love to continue doing, and I need to make this a priority in my work. But my team was also like, hey man, we got to get you out of the road. You got to tour. You got to build. Remember, you're an artist, and you got an album coming and all that. And I was like, I know, but I really want to do this. And so we had to skip out last year, but this year will be, I guess we started in 2022, 2023, we're off. So this will be like kind of the third main one. And we're doing it at Acme Feed and Seed for Americana Fest. And there's like 20 bands, and lineup's pretty sick, man.
Yeah, I saw the posters. It's great.
Cool. Yeah,
some great names.
Yeah.
Did you have help putting that together now?
No.
You did this like you on the phone?
Me,
making the calls,
check out the website, the sponsors. I mean, there's no sponsors yet, but like we've got people live streaming it. Yeah, I'm just making calls, dude.
Yeah. And
that's what Leah was like, man, dude, your team is crushing it. I was like, well, yeah, they are crushing it in terms of a lot of things, but like I am calling, I'm putting all of this, I'm getting the advances, I'm calling the artist managers and going, just you guys go easy on me. I am also an artist, but getting the advance sheets and putting together streaming and the green rooms and the logistics and all that stuff. It's a lot of like spreadsheets versus, writing songs.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that I feel like you have to learn as a skill to persist in this business, especially nowadays as the handlers you can't afford handlers like you used to be able to, if you want to figure it out, you got to learn how to advance your own show.
You have to.
Yeah.
And really it's like the management and all that stuff. It's great when you have a great team around you, but at the end of the day, you are the person that is directing the vision and directing. And if you go, sometimes it takes longer to give a task to somebody than you just doing it on your own time. And like, so a lot of times I'm just doing all of it and then going, hey, by the way, guys, this is how it's set up. And like, can you maybe do that? And if it doesn't get done before the next time I do it, then I do it and say, hey, I've done it. But man, my brain just moves, and no one's going to work harder for yourself than you are, man.
Yeah.
And so like, a lot of people told me like, you can't throw like a big festival. You can't throw this stuff. You can't. And I was like, I'm going to find out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's just, clawing your way at the bottom and talking to the right people and getting a whole lot of like, no. And then building it up to a spot where like, you know, where folks eventually have to go, man, this is really cool, man. We'd love to hop on and like, you know, give some money for the charity and stuff. But yeah, right now it's just me grinding it.
Much respect. I feel like you're describing my relationship to this podcast. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a ton of
that's
work,
it. That's
and
it.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a ton of no's, and it's a ton of patience, and a ton of there's not like a 1-to-1 return on time spent is income received.
Yep.
All of those things, but you know, it's like it's these conversations that like this is very meaningful to me.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what we're here doing and what we're talking about,
For
getting to
sure.
know you,
Yeah.
and letting you know other people get to know you better. I feel like it's some kind of cure to the like pervasive loneliness that is modern life. You know, I feel like all of these devices are crushing us, and it's getting harder and harder to get people to just like stop looking at their phones. I just saw this statistic that came out like yesterday that people between under 40 in the last 10 years, the depression, the loneliness rate is just, it's like plummeted. It's a really bad situation, you know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot about like what I used to think about, like, how can I become the musical guest star on Saturday Night Live? Now I think about how can I be the best possible version of light that I know how to make, given my limited experience and talents and resources and whatever. And, you know, it's like, I feel like you're doing that version of that for you.
For sure.
And you can't really lose.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it'll be whatever it is, but because you're giving it out, there's no conditions.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, getting older is a beautiful thing because you start learning, like, maybe I wasn't teed up to be the special guest musically on Saturday Night Live, but for some reason, all these other skills have come into my life, and like, maybe I'll still end up on Saturday Night Live in some form or fashion doing something with whatever this is, you know, but like sometimes. And
that version of you on Saturday Night Live will be a much better version for the world.
For sure.
You know, than the 23-year-old where you were like,
God.
I'm the fucking man.
Oh yeah, look at me. Yeah, just, I mean, I'm beyond grateful that, like, I mean, I'll be 41 in August, man. So I mean, I've been touring 20 years, man. And so the fact that my career currently at 40 years old, I mean, I'm still grinding, playing rock clubs. I mean, we're showing up and sometimes there's hardly anybody at these clubs, loading my own gear in and out. This is like 20 years old, easy peasy. 40, I'm like, dude, I gotta quit drinking. I gotta exercise. I gotta be very in tune and intentional. And it's just incredible that, like, if you just stick it out for long enough, there's just waves.
There's a way forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you go up and you go down, and it feels like right now we're kind of catching a wave up. And so I'm going, just be cool. Don't blow it. Don't blow it this time. Be grateful. Show up to work. Be kind, and just keep trying to make the best art possible. And it's all going to work out.
And I'm so glad to hear that you're catching a wave right now. Nobody deserves it as much as you. And I think that you said in our exchanges that you have an acoustic version of the new record that's coming out.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Oh yeah. So, you know, I've always, I love just sitting around and doing acoustic versions of these songs. And I was thinking, it would be really cool. You know, when you make a big record, a lot of production goes into it. I mean, it's like, it takes a long time to make, a lot of people involved, there's just a lot of stuff going on to make this product. Similar to, like, you do the huge big budget music video and you put it out on Instagram and 10 people see it and go, cool, on to the next thing. And you go, I just spent 20 grand on that thing and it was incredible. Do you guys not see this? I thought, man, why don't we just, like, press record with, like, me and some buddies, acoustic picking these songs, one take, and just have that go out into the world, because you never know. Those might be the versions of these songs that people gravitate and connect with even more. And it's a completely just different vibe. You know, it just shows the meat of these songs. And so, I pulled in some brilliant musicians on this. Mike Miz, who's in the band, is playing acoustic guitar. But we've got folks from East Nash Grass. We've got, you know, I mean, it's the band. And then Leah's singing background. She's singing some harmonies on it, which is beautiful. And Yeah, we just cut like 5 or 6 songs. It's a little EP live one afternoon in a studio like this, and we filmed it, and so that'll go out here. I think it's going to be coming out in September, so pretty soon. And so that'll sprinkle out.
Depending on, this is going to air right around then, so it's either about to drop or just did.
All right,
go check it out, everybody. What's the name of the album?
We're calling it the Light Side Sessions.
Uh-huh.
So the record's called So Long to the Dark Side, and this is the Light Side Sessions, meaning a little bit lighter, a little bit more fun, and it's
brilliant.
A cool vibe. Yeah.
I love it, and I will say, for my 2 cents, that is my favorite form of music, and that's probably like why we have the live performances on this show, is because I love hearing. I'm a less is more guy always. I just want to hear the song and the person singing it, and then if like there's some great picking around it, awesome.
Oh yeah.
Once this new song that just came out is a studio production, and a very talented producer, Anthony DaCosta, is very largely responsible for how it sounds.
Oh yeah.
And I love it. It's like an oil painting.
Yep.
But I also, there's a world of watercolors out there, and that's to me what like the stripped down version of songs is. And I'm really excited to hear the record.
Right on,
and man, I'm really grateful to you for talking with me and being so open and candid. And
of course,
you're a beautiful soul.
Back at you, man. Yeah.
I can't wait to see more.
We'll be hanging. All right. Yeah, we're neighbors. Yeah.
Ow!
The Morse Code Podcast is produced by Korby Lenker and Jared Hammond in East Nashville, Tennessee. Our executive producer is Randa Newman. You can find full videos for this and all previous episodes at morsecodepodcast.com.